Hello and welcome to the episode 4 of the CFO Leadership Series sponsored by Hub of Finance Transformation. And today I have with us Syed Khalid Noor. Syed Khalid Noor is a C-level executive and has worked with organizations like Unilever and Novartis. Presently, he is the Director of Finance, CFO, and HR and Information Security Lead at Mactor International Limited. He is also a trainer and a faculty at the Next Generation CFO Leadership Program at Hub of Finance Transformation. Hello, Syed Khalid. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to be with you, Asif.
Walaikum assalam. Before we get started, can you give our viewers a little bit background about yourself?
Right, sure. So I started my accounting training at KPMG London office, where I was trained as a chartered accountant. Then I moved back to Pakistan and joined Unilever, where I had different roles, starting from treasury, then into business partnering, then into factory controllership, and then the group reporting, and then finally, most of my time in finance was spent in finance business partnering role. So I worked with the detergent group, I worked with the beverage tea group, and also worked at their the best foods business. So my last position there was the divisional foods director, finance director at Unilever. And then I moved on to Novartis, where I joined as a CFO. And I worked there for about 10 years, 12 years actually. In the last 2 years, I was head of HR at Novartis. And prior to that, I was working double hatting for 3 years as a head of HR. So interesting blend of finance, business partnering, and HR in the career. I was very fortunate. In the last 3 years, I've joined a local pharmaceutical group where I'm responsible for finance primarily. Initially, I was given the role of HR and IT, but nowadays I'm focusing on some large finance projects. Therefore, the HR and IT has gone to the IT head. So that's the kind of background that I have. I love coaching people, especially my finance colleagues, and I think it's very important for CFOs to develop their teams so that we are ready for the future. So this is something about my current career background.
Thank you for sharing that. And I can see a nice blend between finance and HR, which is the people side. So that always is a skill that finance people should develop, working with people and partnering with other departments in the company. Again, welcome to the show. I know we have an agenda for today, where we'll cover aspects related to the skill sets of a CFO. What is exactly a role of a CFO, and also we'll talk about a little bit about the strategic management process that you cover in the Next Generation CFO Leadership Program. So let's dive in. Maybe we can start with the role of the CFO.
Wonderful. Yeah. So as you know, that the CFO role is at a strategic level, where you are sitting with the top leadership team of the organization. So it could be your marketing director, your supply chain director, your HR director, and you as a finance director have to contribute at the strategic level. So one of your tasks as a leadership role anyways is to develop your own finance team and getting them ready for future finance and all about the business and transformation as well as digital transformation journey. So the core responsibility of CFO is to have a strong finance team developed for future. Other roles which are very strategic are collaborating with the business leadership team in strategic planning and execution of strategy. Also, you are responsible for developing finance strategy and also strategic planning. So you're seeing that there is a lot of strategy work that is required in the CFO role. So finance and business risk analysis, that will also include strategy work. So communicating financial information to the board of directors and to other stakeholders, that requires strategy knowledge. Similarly, when you're doing mergers and acquisition and fundraising, your knowledge of strategy is required. So when you're doing financial and business performance analysis, again, the knowledge of strategy is required. So implementing cost management strategies. So these are some of the roles that the CFO has to do, and therefore it is very core, and strategy is at the core of the business management. So for finance leaders who are very good in technical areas of finance, it is very important when they move up to CFO level, they need to be very strategic. They have to develop their business acumen and strategic knowledge and about the strategic management process.
What I can takeaways, responsibility is to develop a team, develop a finance team, and making sure that you are involved in the strategic planning process, including the finance
Absolutely.
strategy, including the various strategies that you need to run the organization. So before we talk more about strategy, can we first cover the skill sets that are required for a CFO? So we talked about the role of a CFO. Now let's understand what skill sets are necessary to perform efficiently as a CFO.
Right, sure. So some of the skill sets that are required of a CFO, and this is defined by the certified chartered accounting body of UK. First of all, you have to be absolutely perfect in financial acumen. So you need to understand how financial decisions are made. What financial resources, how are you going to be financing the organization? The other skill sets include business strategy, risk management, managing technology and data. And then you also need to have leadership and organization development skills. Also, you need to have knowledge about the infrastructure and supply chain, investor management, and also your role as a consultant, an internal consultant advising the board. And finally, also working in the mergers and acquisition arena. So these are some of the skill sets that is currently expected of a good CFO.
Thank you for sharing that. So I see a blend of finance, business, risk and control, technology, and a lot of consulting, M&A, leadership skills that are required. So now let's get back to the strategic management process. So you talked about strategy being a core part of the CFO role. So do you have a framework that you could share, which the viewers watching this can follow in their organization?
Certainly, Asif, I think it's very important for finance people to understand the strategic management process. Right. So we all start with the current situation analysis, and we identify the organization current mission and goals and strategies, and then also assess whether they are working or not, whether the business is performing or not. And following that, you carry out external analysis, which looks at the opportunity and threats, and you also analyze internal situation, and you look at your strengths and weaknesses. And this is commonly called as SWOT analysis. So the strengths and weaknesses are internal analysis, and opportunities and threat are external analysis. And there are various strategic tools and frameworks available to do that. And we are going to be covering those tools which are essential for these analysis. And after we carry out these analysis, then we revise our organizational objectives, our vision, and how we are going to be working. So you define where to play, which is which product and services you are going to be offering, which customer segment, which geography. So that is where to play. And the other is how to win. So what kind of capability the organization requires, what kind of customer value proposition is the organization going to be delivering the promise to their customers. And the how part is actually about what kind of values and culture you're going to be having in the organization. So it's a blend of, so it's a collaboration between marketing, HR, IT, and supply chain people that they are defining the organization purpose and then how to win. So the next stage is formulating the corporate and business and functional strategies, whereby you are actually working on how to execute, how to win, how to achieve your objectives. The last part is strategy execution. So after formulating the strategy, you're actually in the execution phase, whereby the entire organization is actually working towards those goals and objectives set. And in the meanwhile, you're also doing strategic review on a continuing basis, whether the strategy is working or not. And then you go back. So it's a continuous loop. Mm-hmm. So generally, it used to be a 2-year cycle that every 2 years you'll be doing a strategic planning process. But nowadays, with so much volatile external environment, it is the strategic review we are actually looking at a quarterly review of strategic process. Not the whole bit, but if something is affecting the organization, then we are able to quickly respond to the external changes. So a strategic review is very critical. And so the loop then goes on again and again. So this is something that we are going to be covering in our program, all these elements of the strategic management process. It's simple and straightforward, but sometimes you need to have a structure and a framework in place so that you are able to execute the strategy in a much more professional manner. So there could be a lot of discussions, but then so strategy is all about making tough choices and what you'll be doing and what you will not be doing. So that is very important, that you are actually making decisions about the business priorities and how you're going to be achieving it. So it's very important that we follow the discipline. And once you finalize your objectives, the entire organization must be focused in achieving those objectives. So this was something about the strategic management process.
Yes, I can relate to it. So few things that I can take away or I can summarize is what an organization is not doing is equally important, like to select and prioritize what they should focus on versus what they should not be doing. And also once they decide what they should be doing, how they can win in that business segment or that geography. So I can also
Absolutely.
I can also go ahead.
Yeah, so it is the what part, what you're going to be doing, and the how part.
And I can also relate. Earlier we used to do this every 3 years, but now I think since the last few years after COVID, we started doing the 3-year strategy process, which is very similar to this every year. So I can also relate to that. Now let's move on to the CFO leadership. Let's talk about the next generation CFO leadership program. So you mentioned about the strategy leadership module being a part of the CFO leadership program. So before we get into details about that, can you let our viewers know what is the next generation CFO leadership program and who is it for?
Right. So we're looking at those finance leaders and finance professionals who are ambitious, who want to go to the top, who want to become CFOs in the organization. So they're currently mid-level, but they have a hunger to rise in the organization. So what they have done in the past is that they have achieved their professional qualification, which is sometimes 10 years ago. So there is a large information gap. So this program, the Next Generation CFO program, is designed for those mid-level, like people like head of FP&A, controller, or any finance specialist role, to help them to go to the next level. So the program covers aspects of leadership, aspects of strategy, and aspects of digital technology impacting the finance profession and the organization as a whole. The whole world is now being enchanted by the artificial intelligence and chat GPTs and other technology. So it is very important that finance people have a good handle on strategy, analytics, digital transformation, but most of all, the leadership that is required at the CFO level. So the program focuses on that.
Thank you for sharing the background. I know we attended the first batch, which was 2022 and early 2023. So what is one thing that you liked most about the program? So is there anything that you would like to highlight in terms of what you liked about the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was involved in the program design itself. And then the best part was the best faculty that one can put together. So we got, I think, one of the best faculty. So we had Steve Roswell of CFO University. He was the coach for all the CFO, for all the course participants. Then we were fortunate for leadership and communication. We had Talita Ferrara. She was the ex-CFO and head of HR at BMW. And she's currently working in various boards as an independent director. She had a lot to contribute as to how finance can actually be much more effective at their CFO level and how they can enhance their leadership. Then we had one of the best data analytics professional leader and a coach, Prashant Saudekil. He is absolutely fantastic person who is actually teaching data analytics well over. Then we had the Hub of Finance Transformation entrepreneurs, I would say, Zishan Taki, who focuses on performance management, and Mohammed Al-Rubi with finance business partnering. And now we are expanding the faculty, and Asif, you yourself have joined the group, and as well as many others. So I think the best thing, which was not evident in any other program, was the kind of faculty that Zishan and Al-Rubi put together.
Yeah, I agree. So we don't see any other program anywhere where you get so many experts in together, where you can learn different areas of finance leadership at one place. Another thing I liked about the program was the practical applicability. So most of the sessions where we were there, we used to do group discussions, we used to do case studies and practical examples. So it was not just theoretical concepts, but also there was a way shown in terms of how to apply this in your role. And I've seen my colleagues apply this and get some results immediately as well. So I think
Yeah.
that was another aspect I liked about the program. Now, let's dive into the strategy leadership module of the program. So, what can people expect from the strategy leadership module? What would they get out of it if they join the CFO leadership program, specifically from the strategy leadership module?
Right. So the program actually follows. So there are 4 to 5 sessions on strategy, and the program actually follows the strategic management process. So it will start with the how do you set the purpose of the organization, the vision of the organization, how do you set the objectives of the organization, what are the various stakeholders that you need to take care of. So it's not just shareholders, it is the environment, it's the government, it's the regulatory authority, it's your vendors, your own employees. So there's a huge long list of stakeholders that you need to worry about when you're setting strategy. So that would be the first module. The second module would be about the internal and external analysis. We talked about SWOT. The third session would be about actually designing or formulating the strategy as to how to achieve those goals. So what are the key levers that you need to use in achieving the objectives that you have set? And so that's the design part. It's also called strategy formulation. And the last part is the strategy execution. So how can we make the organization capable of delivering the strategy? And it will also include parts relating to strategy review and also very importantly, about strategy communication. So I understand that generally this kind of program is spread over one semester, which could be about 13 weeks of education. So what I'm trying to do is a tough task that I'm wanting to summarize and give you an overview. And also what we'll be using, that I have developed a strategy playbook. So both. So we'll do the theory part as well as the application part. And as you mentioned, the program is very practical and application. So every session will include, every participant will get a strategy playbook, and we'll be completing that strategy playbook during this program. So it's both looking at the overall strategy framework, as well as actually doing strategy for. So the best part would be that they can start applying into their own organization straight away. And I think that will make a lot of difference. You will get noticed that there is something, you're doing something different. When you're speaking to your chief executive and other senior members, they will notice that you are now using a strategic mindset. And that is very important, that you start getting noticed about your own interest into the organization future strategy.
Got it. So we will go very deep into the entire framework that you just shared. So each of the components that we looked at will be ideally one session, and we'll go very deep into it along with practical examples and framework that can be used for you to apply in your organization. So thank you for sharing information about the CFO leadership, the next generation CFO leadership program. I know we are on time, and before we let you go, is there any closing remarks? Maybe you could share some advice that potential CFOs or people who are looking to get into CFO roles can follow. So maybe just one advice that you would want to share with them.
Right. I think it is very, very important that you upskill your capabilities. You focus. The world has changed. The profession has changed. The function has changed. And it's very important that you stay abreast of all the changes that is going around. And the best way is to learn in a collaborative manner, whereby you have a group session, whereby you create a network, and you also learn from the professionals. So I think rather than going to a university program, it's very good that you actually join a program like one organized by HOFT, have a finance transformation, as well as many other programs. But it is important you have the hunger. And learning is on a continuous basis. So join a good program, have good quality discussion, and read books on strategy and business finance. So these will keep you relevant and about the current skill set. And good luck.
Thank you so much. Before we close the session, I want to let you know that the enrollments for the second batch is open right now, and the batch is starting April. 2023. So we will put a link for you to go to the webpage and check out the details and then register for it. So there will be a link at the bottom of the video or the post wherever you see this. Again, thank you so much, Khalid, Noor, for joining us today. And I hope we meet again soon.
Take care. Thank you, Asif. It was great to meet you and discuss about the developing future CFOs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.